Hi, my name is Willow, and today I am going to be reviewing The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. So, the only thing that I'm going to say without spoiling it is that I really love this book, and I'm so excited to read the next one, and I hear it's going to be a trilogy, which is so exciting, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I just really loved it and I really recommend it. I think it's a really good book to read if you're trying to get into reading stuff about fairies or like the fairy world, or if you're a sort of beginner in that genre like I am. Only books that have been explicitly about fairies and only fairies, not like City of Bones and stuff like that, have been by Holly Black. And I think she does a fantastic job of presenting that world and doing so in a way that's not super convoluted, I suppose, because that's kind of what has turned me off of fairies and fairy books. So yeah, I really love this, and now I'm going to talk about spoilers. So I'm going to put the book down, but oh my god, I was dead from the prologue when Jude's parents were murdered in front of her and her sisters. I remember being like, wow, I'm on like page 3 and there's already death. This is setting up for an insane book, and it really did. Oh my god, I loved the world. I know it's set in the same world as her standalone fairy book that came out a few years ago now called The Darkest Part of the Forest, and I loved that book when I read it. I loved it a lot. So I'm really glad to be revisiting this world and having a little peek at the characters that we left behind at the end of that book. That was so cool. And I think it's really interesting to get a mortal perspective of the inside of fairy, and I really liked Jude as a narrator coming off of that. She was really interesting. I got frustrated with her at times because she does act rashly, and you know, when she was being bullied and stuff, I was like, just stop being so intense back, but that's her character and that's fine. But it was making me crazy because I was like, you can be subtle and get back at them instead of literally getting dirt kicked into your food and almost dying several times because you get those bitches real pissed off. But along those lines, I also didn't expect her to be as unreliable of a narrator as she was. I think that also has to do with the fact that the story is told in present tense, which made it that more interesting and that more mysterious, I guess, because there's a lot of things that you really don't know are going on because you're looking through Jude's eyes as everything is happening and as she's processing it, and even at that, you don't get everything she's processing. Like at the end with her plan and how she got Cardan to be coronated, I was like, huh? Okay. I mean, we're going with this. And it's fine, but yeah. But she was honestly a really wild ride of a narrator, and I loved that. YA does not have enough unreliable and fun narrators, and even though she isn't the most unreliable narrator, I would definitely classify her as one, and I just really love that about her. Along with that, and seeing everything through her eyes, looking at all these characters and trying to piece together their roles and who to trust and how we should interact with these characters was so interesting. You have characters like Locke, and Jude is like, oh, well, he's like smitten with me, so I'll go along with it, whatever. And when it turns out to be the complete opposite, and at the same time as you being like, oh, okay, wow, she's also like that. And I love that, though I did find some things to be pretty predictable. I guess that Oak was probably the missing prince, and about halfway through I was like, okay, well, I don't think Cardan is as evil or bad as he appears to be. And while he's definitely an asshole, I wasn't shocked to see that he would go along with Jude's plan, and that in the end, I mean, before she kind of, you know, totally betrayed him, would be on her side. And one of the things about their relationship that really fell flat for me and that I really wish didn't happen was the whole like being in love with her thing. I'm so glad that Jude didn't like entirely reciprocate those feelings, because I hate that enemies to lovers trope. It's just awful. So that's part of why I took off the 1 star, was because I was pretty mad that that was in there. And moving on from that, but still on the topic of characters, because I don't want this to get super all over the place, though it probably already is. Let's be real, that's how most of the reviews on my channel are. I just really loved all the characters in this. They weren't super two-dimensional. You could really get a feel for all of them, and I think that's just really excellent storytelling on Holly Black's part, because I know, especially with first person and present tense, it's really hard to characterize outsiders who aren't directly interacting with the narrator all the time properly, and I think she really does that excellently. And oh, I just really loved this world, and of course the characters as an extension of that. And oh, I'm so fascinated by the politics of this world of fairy, because it is, of course, drawing from myths and tales, as most of them do, but it's its own thing, and I think that that's really interesting. And I'm really curious to know more about the courts and swearing an oath to the royal family, or all of these like killing for the crown sort of things. I'm really interested to see how those politics play out in the next couple books, because I just found it so interesting. And of course, with the whole being a spy and basically everyone with some semblance of power having spies everywhere, I find it really interesting, and I really liked that aspect of this. And something else I liked as well that we don't get to see a lot is the whole being a knight sword fighting thing from Jude. I really liked how the story went from her just simply wanting to be a knight all the way to her being one of the most powerful puppet masters in fairy. And oh my god, like, and I'm not sure if maybe because it's been a while since I've really immersed myself into a fantasy or urban fantasy, I suppose, setting in a novel, but I just loved seeing that transition, and oh, I just thought it was such a cool story overall, I guess. And I know I'm probably rambling and I'm missing things that I really want to talk about. I bet after I turn off the camera I'm gonna be like, damn it. But I just loved this world and this story, and God, I'm so excited for the next one. I'm so interested to see how this plays out. Like, oh, it's gonna be great. I know it's gonna be great. And I'm really curious to see how Jude's character changes in the next few books, because holy shit, she went through a lot of changes in this one. And I'm curious to see how the power is going to get to her, because there were times in this book, and this also ties into her being an unreliable narrator, where I was like, okay, is the power really getting to her head that much? And I just found it really interesting because, as I said, we don't see a ton of unreliable narrators in YA, and much less one who really punishes themselves but also gets a little bit drunk on power as Jude. And oh, I really loved it. It was refreshing, I guess. This read, overall, it was really, really refreshing. So to wrap this all up, because I'm definitely going on like 50 different tangents, I really, really, really loved this book. And as I said, it's like a refreshing breath of fresh air. And I'm so excited for the next books. And I would love to chat theories in the comments if anyone wants to talk about that. And I just really loved reading about this world and immersing myself into the story. I'm a little bit rusty at the moment for filming reviews because it has been a while, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. And I really, really wanted to make a review for this book because even with as rambly as this review is, I know in the future when I'm picking up the next book, I'll probably want a little bit of a refresher for what I thought of the first book. And I love this book so much that, of course, I feel inclined to make a series of book reviews for it. So if you'd like to, you can subscribe to my channel over here, and you can watch some of my other videos over here. And I hope that you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye!